we wake, hear the birds and see the sun.
Well, hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a day in the life. I am up early. I am getting lunches ready for the kids. We're going to get them off to school. I need to get some makeup on. I have a lunch with some girlfriends, and then I have a huge reset in the kitchen to do. If you're new here, my name is Nicholsen. I love to share all things homemaking here on my channel. Things like decorating, cooking, cleaning, and if you like that type of content, please hit the subscribe button. And if you're returning, it is so great to see you. Okay, let's jump into this beautiful, blessed day.
With you and I, the future is bright. You and I, we got it. We don't need no.
I typically change up what the kids eat each week, and I've been sharing quite a few of their bento boxes here on my channel. Last year, because I want to say last year, well, for most of the year I was working, and then my husband was doing the morning routine. Now that I am a stay-at-home mom, I have been really enjoying doing my bento boxes again. So today, I thought it'd be nice to do some little grilled cheese sandwiches. We're going to cut up some fruit. I try to keep fresh foods in the bento boxes, and then I always have things like bars and snacks and chips and whatnot that I'll put in there just for recesses for the kids to have as well. But I always love to put healthy things in here and change it up. Yesterday I did little pork dumplings, and they were awesome. The kids said they were still hot when they had them at lunch. So if you're looking for good things like that, you know, Trader Joe's always has great smaller freezer meals if you are trying to find something quick and easy, but also healthy for your kids to eat. I would check those out because they have really great options. But anywho, today I'm just going to be doing these grilled cheese sandwiches, some fresh fruit. We're going to get that all put together a little bit of breakfast for them. I need to tidy up the kitchen, and then I need to get my makeup on and head out the door because I don't want to be late. Depending on the day, I will either get up, get my makeup ready, get dressed, and then start lunches. This particular week, my husband was out of town, so I was kind of backwards, but I did want to take a moment and share Typology, which is my favorite makeup company, and here are 3 reasons I love Typology and use them exclusively. One, they are formulated and manufactured in France, where they have a higher standard of quality of the things that they use and the ingredients that go into these products. They are 80% of natural origin, and I absolutely love it that they have only essentials in their products. So if you aren't familiar with Typology, let me share the tinted trio. This is what I use every single day. Before getting started, I always like to add their glow drops. It gives my skin the most beautiful glow you'll see at the end of this part of the video. But the first thing I like to do is start with that. Then I add in their tinted concealer, which comes with caffeine, which reduces the appearance of dark circles and puffiness. And it just can be the most medium to high coverage depending on how much you use. And it also glides onto my skin like butter. Then I'll go in with the tinted serum, which is formulated with vitamin C, squalane, and aloe vera, providing a light coverage that highlights rather than hides, which lets your beautiful skin show through while still giving you the coverage that you need. After this, I will add things like eyeshadow, a little bit of bronzer just to kind of bring out my cheekbones, put on my eyebrows, and then I like to go in with my tinted lip oil, which contains squalane and vitamin E and has the most beautiful shades. They come in 5 different shades, and they're so glossy and beautiful. As we are heading into these cold autumnal and winter months, it's so important that you take care of your skin by putting the very best quality makeup on them, and for that I always go with Typology. If you guys want to check out Typology and have a beautiful glowing skin, you will absolutely not regret it. Check out the link down below. They are offering a free hydrating cleanser milk with every $40 purchase. Thank you so much to Typology for sponsoring today's video and giving me the most beautiful glowing skin every single day. I typically like to start the mornings out as calm as possible for the children, so I usually have some nice calming music. I love this station Morning Focus on Apple if you're looking for like a good calm little bit of music to put in the background. Somebody did ask me in a recent video about the music, like if I use a sound bar or something. We actually have speakers that were put into this house, and we use a product called a Sonos that I can just put really anything on through my phone. They have an app for that. So I have it that way, but Sonos actually comes out with a bar, or you could get like a little drop where you can play that in the space where your kids are kind of getting ready for the day. We have a screen-free morning policy, so there's no phones, there's no playing games, there's none of that. We really try to get the kids as grounded as possible before they head off to school, get them fed, and just try to have things as calm as possible. I feel like when mornings are chaos, I tend to find that my children have a much harder time focusing at school. They come home really tired. So for me, I try to wake up early, make sure everything is nice and calm, as well as the night before, have the kids lay their backpacks, shoes, kind of those moments where things start to get a little bit more chaotic, which is like, it's 5 minutes, everybody come downstairs, it's time to go to school. I try to make sure that that part of the day, all the things the kids need, they've already put out. That has been kind of the way I like to keep things, and I really do feel like it makes a huge difference for the kids. So if you're thinking about ways to keep your morning nice and calm, I would prep as much as you can the night before, and then I would always suggest putting on some nice calming music, keeping kids off screen, just to give them the best start to their day. I'm going to wipe down the kitchen. I have a little bit of extra time before we're going to head out to school, and then I'm going to actually be heading out to a lunch, and then we're going to come back. I have a huge harvesting project. We're going to make all kinds of delicious things. I have to clean. We have so much more to do today. I'm so excited. Now that the kitchen is nice and tidy, I'm gonna go head out for a little bit, but it feels so good to come home and the kitchen is clean, the house is ready, and I can jump into my garden project, which I am very, very much looking forward to sharing with you guys, because it's been a minute since I've been out here, and finally my tomatoes are coming in. Out of nowhere, I have more tomatoes than I know what to do with. So today we are gonna harvest, process those. I need to deep clean the refrigerator. I have so many projects to do. I have been waiting all summer for our tomatoes to finally get ripe enough to pick. You guys do know that we did harvest a bunch of Romas, made some delicious pasta sauce, but my heirlooms are coming in, which is so exciting. Oh, it's the simple things, guys. It really is the simple things in life that just bring so much joy if you're willing to allow it into your life. So today, we're going to be harvesting a ton of padron peppers. I have a ton of jalapenos, a ton of tomatoes. It was a big, giant harvest day. I want to say it's probably the biggest harvest day I've had. Now, our zucchinis have not come back, and I am going to spend a little bit of time this weekend trying to figure out if I am going to bring them back or if I'm just going to get rid of them altogether. Our habaneros are finally turning orange. I'm just like, I could not be more excited. So today we're going to do a big harvest, and then we are going to make some homemade goodies. I'm going to be resetting the refrigerator. I'm making green goddess dressing, pickled jalapenos, pasta sauce, homemade ice cream, and some chili using these padrones, because once they get really big, they get really spicy, and I thought they'd be perfect. If you guys want to give this video some love, say hi to Enzo, give that thumbs up button a quick click. I didn't have a basket big enough for today's harvest. I didn't want to make multiple trips, and so I just decided to get a little bin to put everything inside and bring it into the kitchen where we are going to clean everything. I have to say, like, the weather here has been very fussy. We've had some rather cooler days, and now we're having a hot week, but then last week it rained. It's just all over the place, so you never really know, but I try to get out of the garden first thing in the morning, like get out there, get the kids to school, or if it's the weekend, kind of get the kids settled with breakfast. So around 10 o'clock, then I like to come out here before it gets hot. Since it took me so long to get everything harvested, I was out in the garden a little bit earlier, so I still had a couple dishes I wanted to tidy up before we get cleaning. I am going to soak everything kind of in batches, then we'll let everything sit out, dry, and then we're going to start processing everything. I am going to be making a delicious chili tonight for dinner, so that makes life so much easier. I can put that on the stove and kind of just go through a nice, lovely day. I definitely need to deep clean the refrigerator. You guys will see that as well. I like literally scrape things out of the refrigerator. If you want to say hi to Marie, say hi down in the comments. She's doing so well. We just absolutely adore her. I was talking to one of my neighbors this weekend about the tomatoes I grew, and she was saying like, wow, you have so many of the Romas and not as many heirlooms. And where I live in Napa Valley, kind of wine country, California, most people make a lot of the heirloom tomatoes, which are those big, beautiful ones. They have great flavor, but I've just always noticed, even when I was younger, like making pasta sauce with heirloom tomatoes, it was always very watery, runny, and I never felt like the flavor was intense enough. So I always plant about 3 Romas for every 1 heirloom plant. And I also love San Marzanos, are also great. I couldn't find them this year, but I did source the seeds for them. So next year I'll just do seed starts for those plants. But I love using Romas and San Marzanos for just roasted tomatoes to put into recipes, making it for my sauces. Even tomato paste is really great. You just have to keep reducing it down, put a little vinegar in there. It's like really, really easy to do. But I have to say, like, we only have the 2 heirloom plants, and other than making like bruschetta and like a caprese salad, I don't really use them in that much. I guess we put them in burgers and whatnot, but I end up giving a lot of them away. But not my Romas, because I always make a bunch of sauce with those. You could do sun-drieds with those. I just find them to be better. So today, obviously, I have a ton of Romas that we're going to be harvesting. I also have a ton of heirlooms as well, but I did give half of those away. I've got all of our peppers, so I have jalapenos. I have Fresnos. The Fresnos are the red ones, and then the habaneros are the yellow ones. And then we also have the padrones. The padrones got a little away from me. So once they get too big, they get really spicy and they aren't as pleasant to eat as an appetizer. So I'm actually going to chop those up and saute them and add them into our chili, almost like they're a poblano. If you guys were here on my channel, poblanos are like my favorite thing to grow in the summertime, and the chickabooms got into the garden and ate all the leaves off the poblanos, but I wasn't willing to get rid of them, so I did replant them, and this week we harvested like maybe 8 poblanos, like good sized poblanos, even though there's like no leaves on them. I was so happy and excited because they happen to be one of my favorite peppers to eat and enjoy. I don't know. I love those. I love chipotle peppers. I love spicy things in general, but those are just great to cook. They just give a really great flavor. So before I process all of the stuff from the garden, I really do need to tidy up the refrigerator. I'm just going to go in and remove things, just wipe things down, and then kind of take inventory on what I need to cook, what I need to get rid of, what I need to make, and then we're going to get started processing everything we harvested from the garden today. about you guys, but fall really does feel like it's setting in where we live. And I always find this time of year, this transition, kids back to school, the routines that we have adjusting pretty heavily from summertime. And there's something about this season that I feel like there's a shift in my homemaking style. And I find that like I'm slowing down a lot more. I'm layering coziness throughout the house, having good candles going, just soft music going, encouraging like our children to read more at night. And I've been reading more myself. We're just not out and about doing as much. We've got homework and things like that. And I'm wondering if you're feeling that shift too as well. I know it's mid-September at this time, but I find that even my refrigerator, as I'm cleaning it out right now, I've got a lot of summer things going on in here that I'm really looking forward to transitioning out and adding in some more of like my favorite things to cook in the Instant Pot, or like chilies. And I love making short ribs and things like that, soups. So I'm in the process of kind of readjusting everything in here, as at least that's what my mind is thinking about as I'm kind of going through the refrigerator of like, okay, what can I pull out that I'm probably not going to use for the remainder of this season, and bring in some more cozy things to cook with as we slow down and kind of embrace the autumnal months. I'm curious how much longer my garden is going to be pushing out tomatoes. I feel like for the most part, like I said, zucchinis, eggplants, things like that, cucumbers are done, but the peppers and tomatoes seem to be going really strong. So I'm kind of curious to see how much longer those are going to go, and then at what point I'm going to transition my summer garden into my winter garden. Tell us in the comments down below, what do you like to plant in your winter garden? I did my first winter garden last year and it was really, really fun. I really want to try to do things like potatoes and onions, but as we all know, I failed miserably at the onion planting last year because I didn't separate the bulbs. But this year is a new year and we learned from last year. So we'll be doing that as well as some other things. But I'd love to know, what do you guys really enjoy cooking? I really enjoyed bringing broccoli in, cauliflower, things like that. So I think we're going to do lots of things along the lines of that, the same as what we did last year. So to get my chili started, I'm going to just saute some of those larger padrones. I needed to process the very last of the garlic we have. I've had this garlic for like a couple months, and I am now officially out of frozen garlic. So we're going to do that. And then we are going to get our chili started, which I just think chili, if you are at home and you're in the mood for something quick, simple, easy, delicious, you can never go wrong with throwing a pot of chili on. Well, our meat for the chili is cooking over there. I did end up adding in some andouille sausage only because I wanted a smoky flavor. So if you're ever looking to like fancy up your chili, always add in either like liquid smoke. I also love using like a smoked brisket, things like that. Always gives it a great flavor. But for the tomatoes, all I do is cut a little X at the bottom of them. Once I see the skin starting to peel back, I pull them out, and then I'm just going to let them cool for a bit. Then in a minute, we're going to go ahead and actually remove all the skins from the tomatoes to start making our tomato sauce. I did need some diced onion for quite a few recipes today, so I went ahead and just threw that in the food processor. Another thing I like to do is, if you have some like larger garlic cloves, you can actually put those in the freezer, and then when you go to put them in the food processor, put a little salt in there, it will actually make it into a garlic paste as well. I don't know why, I don't think I shared that very clearly in this video, but that's what I was trying to do. So let's get the rest of these tomatoes processed, then we'll start pulling the skins off. I'm going to blend up what we do end up pulling out of this harvest, and then we are going to actually put that back on the stove for about 15 to 20 hours, depending, to really reduce it down slowly. That's the way my mom always did it. This is actually her recipe, and that's the way I like to do it. It just seems to work. But if you've got a great tomato sauce recipe, we'd love to see it. So share it down in the comments down below. So while all of that's going on, I had a ton of tarragon, so I decided to make green goddess dressing, which is one of my favorite dressings in the whole world. I actually remember where I was the first time I ever had it. There was a restaurant in Yountville called Hurley's, and Bob Hurley was the chef there, and he made, I don't remember if it was a salad or if it was an appetizer, but it was the first time I had ever experienced green goddess. I was actually with my mom, and it was the most incredible thing I had ever had in my life. And I asked him, because he was a friend of my mom's, how do I make this? So I've always made green goddess dressing because of that experience. It's kind of a rare thing, although I do see sometimes you'll see like green goddess dressing at the grocery store. It's not the same. This is based with tarragon. I think the New York Times did a pretty famous version of this from the Plaza Hotel. But anyway, this is my version. I will have it linked down below. I've shared it many times on my channel, but it's kind of like, I would call it like a fancy luxury ranch. But let's whip that up because we're going to use that this week in some of our recipes. Have to tell you, days like today when I have the chance to slow down, I spend time in the garden with the chickens and all the pets. I actually had Marie out that specific day as well, and there's something just really soul-filling and grounding about having a slow homemaking day and just kind of simplifying slowly, kind of simplifying the day by doing little things that will bring me joy later in the week, especially when it comes to cooking. I feel like cooking is kind of probably my love language. I would say most nights when I feed my family, like I'm more excited to see what my husband's reaction is going to be to my new recipes rather than I care even to eat them. I sometimes like will eat along the way while I'm cooking and then I'm not even hungry, but I'm just so excited to see what he thinks. Or like I'll hear his car pull up and I will just have finished something and I run out. I'm like, oh, I just finished this thing. You have to come in and try it. I'm sure he enjoys that as well. But it's one of my favorite things about kind of just taking a slow day like today and making all of our little favorite things. I did forget to make the Chipotle ranch. I usually like to make that at the beginning of the week. I put it on our breakfast burritos and things like that. I love doing it with salads and stuff. But I like to have a couple of those really delicious things ready to go in the refrigerator for the week. They're very quick and easy to do. And then, you know, days like today when I'm not going to do like a quick tidy of the house, it means the following day I probably have a little bit more housekeeping to do, but the kids are home so they can help us. And for me, just like having good meals, good routines, good scent in the house. We played or watched football this weekend. It was just like such a great grounding weekend to be cooking. I really enjoy this. So if you're not a big cook, I could completely understand how this would not bring you joy or fulfill you in any way. But if there's something around the house, whether it's doing puzzles, knitting, whatever it is that you really enjoy. I highly recommend spending a little bit of time each week just slowing down and enjoying the little tasks that bring you that joy. For me, it happens to be cooking, being in the garden, being with my kids. A lot of that I don't ever share on this channel, but just my kids part, but for me, that is the part that brings me joy, gives this life the depth and meaning that make me really happy. So for days like today, I just want to have a gentle, calm day of, not running around and just enjoy bringing these beautiful things in from the garden, cooking them for my family, and anticipating them coming home and enjoying these delicious flavors for dinner. I harvested so many jalapenos out of the garden. I didn't want them to go bad, so we are going to pickle about 3 jars of those. We'll go through those pretty quickly. My husband and I both really, really love spicy things. And then these tomatoes, all you have to do is hold them by their pit, and all the meat falls out. I also like to use the juice. I will add that back into this. And then I'm going to go in kind of batches and actually blend that, and then we're going to cook it on the stove for quite a while, just slowly reducing it down until it's a really good pasta sauce. I need to quickly whip up the last part of our jalapenos. I'm just adding a little garlic and some water and vinegar in here. We're going to bring that to a boil. I'll pop it into the jalapenos. I do add a little bit of sugar. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It kind of just depends, but I saw a really good new recipe, so I decided to try it this way. So we'll see how it turns out. I'll know in another week. I need at least 2 weeks of these to ferment in here, and then I'll let you know if they're any good. But I love pickled jalapenos. I could eat them just as snacks. So for this pasta sauce, all I'm going to do is take what we already have removed skins from and add it into this food processor. This is my Ninja. This comes with, I want to say, 5 different it has a juice maker thingy, a blender, a food processor, a smoothie maker. It's got all these different things. So if you're looking for a new one, I highly recommend that. It is so incredible. I also highly obviously recommend the Ninja Ice Creamy because, we basically use it every day. It's one of my favorite new things. I've made so many ice creams in the last 2 or 3 weeks. If you don't already have one, I highly recommend getting it. You make your ice cream, put it in the fridge or the freezer for a day, bring it out, and then when you put it into the machine, it makes it so fluffy and perfect. It's I don't ever want to go back to any other ice cream. I know that's a little weird. I'm talking about ice cream while we're making pasta sauce, but that's just where we're at, okay? That's just where we're at today. So I'm going to get all of this added. So I already put in the onions and the garlic. We've sauteed those down. Now I'm going to slowly add in the processed tomatoes. And then I'm going to add in a little bit of seasonings. I like just a standard Italian seasoning. I love the one from Trader Joe's. And then I add in some balsamic vinegar. And we're going to put that on low and slow. You could literally do this for 24 hours. I swear, during the months of August, September, October, my mom always had a fresh batch of pasta sauce on the stove, just going nonstop. And then she'd make little dishes and it was just always simmering. That's just how she had things in her home. And so I have to say, I'm kind of taking on a lot of that. I just love having fresh things on the stove. The kids come home. I always want them to be excited. Although I do feel as of recently, the kids are kind of dreading going to school because they just want to be home. So I guess that's a good thing, right? That they love being here. But I do feel like they've been really, really, really not enjoying going to school this year, which has been a bit of a bummer. But hopefully they get over it. Not my eldest. My eldest is loving high school. My other kids are just like, meh, I'm over it. I'm ready for something new. So I did prep some fruit for the kids for school. I'm going to throw together a really quick little ice cream. I'm going to do a vanilla base and a chocolate base. For the vanilla base, I do about a third cup of whipped cream cheese. I add in a third cup of sugar, add in a half a cup to a cup of heavy whipping cream and or milk, kind of depends. I like to do a little bit of both, and some vanilla paste. Mix all that up, and then we're going to freeze that overnight. This one we're going to be doing a strawberry shortcake, so I'm going to be adding in some pie crust and fresh strawberries to this. It turned out incredible. And then the other one we're going to do is a chocolate. So I'm going to be doing a chocolate base, very similar to the vanilla, except I omit the vanilla, and then I'm adding in cocoa powder. I saw a really good recipe for this. It turned out like, wow. The flavors were incredible. I never would have thought to use this, but whoever gave me that recipe, that was a 15 out of 10. So good. When we were done with that, I actually mixed in chocolate. So with the creamy, you can actually mix in the chocolate and the other things with the mix-in feature on the machine, but I'll link it down below. Let me show you how everything turned out. Okay, guys, here's what we ended today. I made some green goddess dressing. We did 3 things of jalapenos. I washed some cherries, strawberries, grapes for the kids for school. We have some diced up jalapenos. Here are those padrones we're gonna put in tonight's chili. Chocolate base and a vanilla base for ice cream for tomorrow. We're gonna do a strawberry shortcake ice cream and chocolate mint. Here's today's eggs. Didn't get to the hot sauce, unfortunately. It was just a little too much today. And then here's our sauce. Oops. Looking very good. I just can't wait. And then here's dinner. This chili. I turned it off because we've got a good hour before it's time to eat, so that is that. Here's everything else I have left over from today's harvest. And I will see you guys in the next video real soon.